And this is the Fathers, Mothers, and Family Show. We'll hook up with Q Madp. Are you out there, Q?
I'm out here. Good evening, everybody.
Okay. Are you surviving the heat here, Q?
Man, I tell you, I'm barely surviving it. The air is really, really thick right now.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to think.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. It's funny how it does that. The mind powers just seem to be slowed down. Yeah.
Right, and it seems to aggravate people too.
Yeah.
And I can see that sometimes when you get a little bit too hot and you're looking for something that's right in front of you, you just can't find it, and then you get frustrated.
Yeah.
Then you find it even less. You get more frustrated, and then you just have to walk away and get a cold glass of water and come back and try again. I notice for myself in a situation like that, I'm likely to snap a little bit, snap at myself, just get irritated. We love the sun and we love the solar power, but it isn't always an even 72 degrees. Right, and I hate rain. I dislike rain, and I was hoping the other day for some rain. Actually, I was at a funeral yesterday up at Willamette, and it did rain on me, believe it or not.
Oh, a little buildup or something? Yeah,
it was just a cloud that was bouncing over and saw me standing there all alone with my camera and decided to drop a few.
Yeah, said, that guy's got an expensive camera. That we'll aim for him. Yeah.
So, we have the 4th of July coming up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something that a lot of people are not aware of. And that's called the U.S. flag.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be funny here. But I thought today's message should be, for people to be a little bit more respectful of the U.S. flag and know how to handle the U.S. flag. It's always one of my pet peeves for some reason, maybe because I believe the U.S. flag is one of the last remaining symbols that also refers me back to the original Constitution. Because everything else out there is just being torn apart, being shredded, downgraded, side-graded, you name it. But our U.S. flag is one of the last remaining symbols. And a lot of people don't know the basics of handling the U.S. flag. I saw an ad the other day on TV where the U.S. flag was hanging on the wall and the blue field was on the right side as I'm facing it. So that would have been on the flag's left side, and that is incorrect. I've also seen color guards carrying the flag wrong. So I want to teach you guys some very simple, basic things to keep in mind.
Yeah. So you're talking when you're hanging the flag vertically.
Either hanging it or carrying it or, dealing with it.
Okay.
The first very basic rule is the U.S. flag is always on its own right. If you can remember that little piece, then it'll answer most of your questions. For example, if you have some other flags with you, pretend you're the U.S. flag, stand on the right, and everybody else is to the left of you.
Okay.
When you're putting the flag on display, for example, on a stage, if you're facing the stage, yes, you see the U.S. flag on the left. But if you're the U.S. flag, guess what? It's on its own right.
It's on its own right. Other flags, other insignia, other things are to the flag's left. Okay.
Now, there are variations in this. Like if you have a lot of country flags, they all need to be at the same height, unless we're at war, then we can be above them. But they need to be at the same height, and the U.S. flag would then be on the right and all the other flags on the left. And if you're facing them, U.S. flag would be on the furthest left, facing them, and all the other flags to the right. It's the same when if you're walking with the flag and you're walking with another flag, either a state flag or some sort of banner. Then if when you're walking and you're holding the U.S. flag, the other flag should be on your left.
So, like if
the U.S. flag is on your right.
Yeah. So if you're in a parade and you're carrying the Oregon, someone's carrying the Oregon flag and someone carries the U.S. flag, the United States flag, it's that same thing on as you. It's the same rule then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now there's once again, for some military purposes, now sometimes it's a little different. Sometimes you have a unit flag and a state flag, then the U.S. flag in some formations will be in the middle and will be above those two flags. But we won't get into that. We're just going to get into what the average person deals with.
Mm-hmm.
When you're standing along the road, cheering on a parade, holding a flag, especially if you're holding a full-size flag like a 3x5 on a pole, you should hold it straight, up and down. Because we don't bow down. Just remember that. We don't bow down. Now, some people may, but we don't bow down. Okay? Other flags, you can tip them, whatever. I know some of them, like state flags, got set rules too. But anyhow, U.S. flag, always straight up and down. Just kind of keep that in mind. And now the little tiny flags that the children have and that's a little different as long as they're not holding it upside down and that. But they could be taught at an early age also. When you're mounting the U.S. flag on display, like in your room or business, you mount it on the wall, the blue field of stars is always furthest to the right of the flag. So when you're facing it, the blue field is always on the top left side. If you're hanging it longwise, with the stripes going down, same rule. The blue field will then be on the top left side because that's the blue field, the stars, consider that the master of the flag. It's always on the furthest right. Okay? And all you got, if you go to like IraqWarHeroes.org, and you'll see a U.S. flag waving in the top left corner on its own right. If you click on that, I have your basic flag codes. Okay, now, code does not mean law. So, I mean, if you don't do it right, that doesn't mean someone's going to bust you. But neither should you be disrespectful.
Right.
To the flag. You should avoid having the flag touch the ground when you have it on display.
Yes.
You should avoid attaching other things to the flag. You should avoid putting things on the flag. And, check out the basic rules on that. If you have two flags, for example, that you have on a pole that are crossing each other, I know this is radio, so it's kind of hard. Then if you're looking at the flags, guess what? In that crossing, like an X shape, U.S. flag will, if you're facing it, will be on the left because it will be on its
right.
Own right.
Own right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So has any of this made sense to you? It's, without displaying, it's kind of hard, but.
Yeah, it's part of the basic respect for the flag. Just a basic respect is all.
I see a lot of people, for example, if you also hang a flag in your window, so the outside world sees it, well, then you have to hang it with the blue to the top left, its own right, for the outside world to see, not for what you see on the inside.
Okay, so in your window, and if it's being basically shown for people outside, then that's the frame of reference.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's the same like a couple of years ago. I was at a funeral service. Great turnout. I think it was down by the state of Oregon University or something like that. And I saw a bunch of people standing there holding big flags, and you had like 2, 3, 4 people holding them. And they were standing alongside of the street, but they were holding it where as thought the flag was being displayed for themselves, so they had it backwards. Okay, so it's for whom the flag is intended. Mostly the view is you need to orientate according to that. So I had to run over there and ask them to flip their flags around real quick because when the hero was coming by, you wanted to make sure that was correct.
Yeah.
Yes, your First Amendment right allows you to burn the flag, stomp on the flag, and all of this. Now, not all flag burning is illegal. I mean, wrong, because, proper disposal of flag is you can hold a little flag burning ceremony, but you don't do that on the street and stuff like that. That's just being disrespectful. Yes, you have the right to do that, but you know what? If you're that disgusted with this country and don't even bother to vote, why don't you get the hell out of this country? That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
flags.
Especially,
I like seeing flags on the cars also.
Yeah,
But if you're only putting one flag on your car, on your fire truck, on any of your vehicles, you know what side that flag should be? Passenger side.
Passenger
because
side.
that would be the furthest right.
Okay.
That would be the flag's on right.
Okay, that's right.
That makes sense?
Okay, as somebody is looking at the car being driven toward them, they're going to see the flag
on the left side.
Okay.
You're looking at the headlights,
Right.
it'll be on the left side.
Correct.
But if you stand behind the flag, it'll be on its right.
Yeah, on its...
Now, if you have two flags, put one on each side.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you've got a large vehicle where you could center mount the flag, large and high, rear, that's acceptable. Motorcycles, if you do only one flag, then of course you'd always be in the center behind a cyclist. If you're doing small flags, I've seen smaller flags on motorcycles where a lot of them have the POW MIA flag and then the U.S. flag. And I've seen some of those that were wrong. The U.S. flag always should be on the right. Any other flag that you carry should be on the left. Like I said, it's a basic rule, have the flag on its own right.
On its
and look,
own.
if your flag gets tethered really bad, well, if it starts to get tethered, take care of it. Either mend it or replace it. Because willfully being disrespectful of the flag, I think then you are willfully disrespecting anyone that you're trying to honor with the flag.
Well said, Q. Well said. Q, tell us a little bit about your involvement in honoring our veterans for those who may not be familiar with you.
Well, I run tribute sites like IraqWarHeroes.org, a tribute site that's dedicated to all American men and women that served in our armed forces that served in Iraq and or Afghanistan and have since deceased. It's a non-commercial site. You don't see any ads on it. It's a tribute site. And one of the things I do along with running that tribute site is I attend as many funerals for our KIAs, that's those that were killed in action or died as a result of. And I attend their memorial service and photograph them free for the families. So I've been doing this over 12 years now.
Wow. And I might add, Q does this all volunteer to honor the men and the women who sign up to serve their country. They have no say other than a regular vote as to what the policies are. But when the country calls them, they say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, we're here to serve.
There's a website out there called ushistory.org. It has a pictorial examples of how the U.S. flag should be handled.
Oh.
Mine is all text. Mine is just code text. And I could probably bore people. But if you go to ushistory.org and look up flag etiquette there, they have little pictures and give you a brief description. So, I would like to see more people out there with the U.S. flag. I'd like to see them out there more on Memorial Day. Actually, I'd like to see more of our flags waving everywhere. So,
Well, Q, for what it's worth, between Flag Day, which is June 14th, and the 4th of July extended weekend there, I either have my tie with the Statue of Liberty on it, or I have my Stars and Stripes tie that I wear. It just seems right, just feels right. And
you know, if you're going to do your 4th of July thing, don't get napkins that have the U.S. flag on it. Don't get toilet paper that has the U.S. flag on it. You know, if you look at the basic code, you know, you're not supposed to be using the flag as advertisement, as
avoid the
face wipes, butt wipes, whatever. You know, it looks nice. You can get something that's colored red, white, and blue, but not something that has the flag on it.
Yeah, for the napkins, the facial tissue, the sneeze target, for those type of things, let's aim for something other than the U.S. flag.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of products out there that got the colors, you know. So, you know, if you really need to sneeze, get some French napkins and turn them upside down. Okay, I didn't really say that.
No, he didn't say that. We're just joking. It's that other country. Okay, but Q, you make a very good point. If you're going to celebrate the flag, be a little mindful of the purpose. Napkins, tissues, things of that sort. Maybe not.
That brings me up to another quick thing about this.
Okay, go ahead, Q.
I use Facebook basically just as a method to get my message across of what I'm doing in that. Mm-hmm. But I will see people posting pictures or create these little collages that are supposed to be real patriotic. So I'll see them with the flag backwards, here, there, or something. And, you know, if you're going to do a patriotic picture, you know, pose with the flag and stuff like that, do it right. If you're going to hold the flag, hold it in your right hand. Now, there's an exception, of course. If you can't use your right hand, use your left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're holding a U.S. flag and you're asked to salute, you salute with the flag. You know, you bring it in front of you and raise it straight up and down.
Oh.
You don't put it in your left hand and then put your other hand over your heart or, you know, do a military-style salute with your right hand.
So if you're holding
the flag.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're holding a small flag, you salute in your right hand. You salute with your right hand with the flag in it. Okay.
Yeah, well, when you're holding a flag on a pole, you use both hands to hold that pole, bring it in front of you, and slightly raise it. Straight up and down. That's a salute. And when you're no longer saluting, then you bring it back to your right side.
Okay.
It's the same, like every once in a while I'll see, mostly I see this on pictures that get passed around. I see a guy standing there saluting another flag, a coffin going by, and he's got his flag in the left hand, and then he's got his hand raised. Wait a minute. You're disrespecting one U.S. flag to salute another. Let's get this stuff right, folks.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty much a nitpicker on it. I really annoy the hell out of some people. They're probably, if they're listening, they're probably out there, you know, cussing me out or something, or just grinning, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's just one of my peeves. I know I make mistakes too, but I try to educate people and say, look.
If someone thought that you were being a little bit too nitpicking here, what would you say to them? I think you'll draw back on the freedom, liberty, democracy this country has, a precious commodity on this globe. And the people who have given a lot or given their all for that. But what would you, in your words, what would you say to people?
Well, you know, it depends on who the people are. You know, if they're like new people, for example, that come out, for example, with the Patriot Guard riders to stand on a flag line. If they're new people, I politely explain to them why we need flagging a certain way. For example, a lot of them, there's some, not a lot of them, There's some, that'll have that flagpole in their right hand, the right place, but they'll have it swinging over their shoulder like they're going out fishing. Like, no, we're not out here fishing. Keep it straight up and down, please. And I try to explain, it has to do with being respectful to the flag, and it also has to do with being respectful who you come out to honor. And I kind of always say, if you can't be respectful with the flag, how can you possibly be honoring the person that died for that flag?
And that's something to keep in mind. To honor that person.
I mean, I was at a service. This has probably been at least 6 years ago, and there was a big, huge turnout. And I'm taking pictures, and I saw this guy hold this flag like really messed up. And I asked him politely to hold it properly, and he says, "You know what? I served in Vietnam, and by God, I earned the right to serve to hold this flag blank, blank, blankety blank, any which way I want." So I just looked at him. I thanked him for servicing and walking home, and I figured, you know what? I'm not going to argue with this guy. I'm just going to walk away, and hopefully he'll get the message on his own. But I mean, we do have the right to whatever. We do have the right of free speech, free expression. But that flag stands for one of those rights.
Yes, and I actually think your response in that situation to thank that person for serving, I think that was a very measured and respectful response given the situation. Thank you, sir, for serving.
Sometimes I can get really annoyed, and I realize I'm not a people person, you know what I'm saying? But I try to be pretty polite. Fairly polite.
Yes.
Unless they're repeat offenders, then I'll write them. But
then you'll spell it out. Yeah.
And some people know that if I'm there with the camera and they're doing something wrong with that flag, they know I will catch it before I say anything.
Okay.
But for a lot of people, it's accident. It's not paying attention or they're being distracted. All I'm saying is, treat this flag like a very valuable piece. Because this flag, you're not just standing there holding a flag. You're standing there holding a symbol that represents so much, especially when it comes to servicemen and women that died defending that flag. What the government's doing, that's a whole different story. But that flag is very precious to many of us.
The flag isn't just representing some of the mistakes the current politicians are making. It's also representing the roughly 1 million men and women who have died securing freedom for this country over the last 250 years. Got to keep that in mind.
And if you don't know about basic flag etiquette and stuff like that, ask. Another source of information and also another place that you could possibly bring old worn flags to is contact like the local Boy Scouts or Sea Scouts and people like that.
Yeah, there you go.
In the old days, Boy Scouts learned basic flag etiquettes and stuff. I don't know if they still do that, but that would be a contact source. Or the Young Marines is another good little organization. They have one out here in Clackamas or near Portland somewhere. I see them every once in a while. That's a great bunch of kids there.
Yeah. Okay, Q, a final thought before we have to go here. We're here with Q Madp, IraqWarHeroes.org. Final thought.
My final thought is, be careful with all your firecrackers. You have a lot of veterans out there and a lot that just came from the battlefield, and really you don't just want to be recklessly booming around them. It can be really bad for them. It could be also bad for you. And the other thing is, it's been really dry lately. Is your little reckless firecracker worth burning down so much? Be safe out there. And I bid you all a very happy 4th of July.
Q Madp, thank you so much for being part of our show, and thank you for your wonderful words here and words of respect.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Take care, Q Madp. Take care now. Bye. You're listening to the Fathers, Mothers, and Family Show. We have an announcement or two.
This hour of programming on KPSU was made possible